Hi everybody, this is Steve Folland. I teach at the Windsor Centre and I'm going to be helping you with your CEM homework review video, Year 5, Block 6, Week 1, Lesson 1. Okay, let's make a start. So, you should have done your homework, which would have been Test 1, Test 2 and Test 3. And that would be from the Let's Complete the Results booster. So we'll start with Test 1, that's pages 4 and 5. Okay, now you don't want to watch me, so I am going to put Billy back in. He's far more interesting than me. Nice little headset there, Billy. Right, so first question, what is 1/3 of 51? So all we need to do with that is, let me get my right numbers in the right order. First of all, is we are going to divide how many times does a third, or 3 rather, go into 51. That's all we need to do, and I'm going to write in my number 3 there. Oh, it's very big, that. I'm going to reduce it in size. Just a reasonable, so I'm going to put number 3 in there. And how many times does 3 go into 51? Well, it goes 3 into 5, that goes once. Just move that over there. 3 into 51 goes once. How much is left over? Well, there is 2 or 20 left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in my number 2. So that becomes a 21. So that 3, so now how many times does 3 go into 21? 3 goes into 21. 3 times 7 will be 7. So your answer, so 1/3 of 51 is 17. Fantastic. Right, let's get rid of this. Okay, let's get rid of this to make it nice and easy to work. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Now, our next question, how many milliliters are there in 50 centiliters? Well, first of all, you need to know how many or what 1 centiliter is. Okay, so 1 centiliter, all right, that equals, I'm just going to get my, let's just go back to this. So 1 centiliter CL, and that equals 10 milliliters. You need to know these are the sorts of things that you really need to know. Okay, so 1 centiliter is 10 milliliters. 10 centiliters would equal 100 milliliters, which means that 50 centiliters would equal 500 milliliters. And that's your answer. Your answer would be 500 milliliters. Okay. On a compass, which bearing is directly opposite southeast? Well, there's my compass, and again what you should be doing is you should be writing out your compass if you don't know them. If you know them, that's great, but what you must remember is if you don't know them, that's what you should be doing. Right, so what we're going to do is I am going to draw in some different points, and so north, south, east, west. North, east, south. Okay, I always learnt it north, south, east, west. So as we go around, that'll be north, and as we get closer, it'll be northeast. So that'll be east, and then we come to this bit, which will be southeast. Okay, so that's your southeast. And it says which one is directly opposite, so there. And if we go around, that would become southwest, that would be west, and then that would be northwest. So your answer is northwest. Okay, right, I'm going to get rid of all this so that it doesn't get in the way for our next answer, which is, let me get rid of this too. Get rid of this out of the way. There we go. Right, And the next one is how many 18s can be taken away from 774? So how many times do we have to multiply 18 to equal 774? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my division sign, and I'm going to put in how many times does 18 get divided by 774. Well, what's going to help me at this point in time, because 18 doesn't go into 7, nothing I can do about that. 18 into 77. So what really helped me is if I bring out my 18 times table, as one I did earlier. Now I can see that 18 4 times is 72. Okay, so I'm going to put I'm going to put a 4 up here. What I'm going to do first of all, let's just put this in. It's irritating that it comes out at a certain time. So I'm going to put a 0 in there because 18 doesn't go to 7. So now what I'm going to do is write a 4 there, because we know it goes in 72. All right. So I'm going to now write 72 in here. Okay, same thing. Okay, 72. That's going to make them a bit smaller so that it works. That's better. Right, so how many times 72? So let's bring up, didn't want that. So let's take 72 away from 77. Well, I know if I take 72 away from 77, I'm left with a 5. Okay, sorry, yes, 5 will give me that answer. So I'm going to put my number digit in here. I'm going to put my 5 in here, and I'm going to bring my 4 down. Now I need to know how many times does 18 go into 54. Well, so we'll look at my times table, and I can see that 18 goes into 54 3 times. So above here I can write my 3. And just to make sure there's nothing left over, this one here, I can write a 5 and a 4, and I know that if I took 54 away from 54, that I would be left with absolutely nothing. Okay, so 54 away from 54 goes with nothing, so my answer will be 43. I don't need the 0. So 18 goes into 774 43 times. Or how many times would I need to multiply 18 to take it away, or to equal 774 43. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to just get rid of this. This one's going to come with me out of the way down there. And all of this is going to come out of the way too, so I've got a bit of space for my next one. How long in hours and minutes is there between these 2 times? So how long in minutes and hours between these 2 times? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go from, let's write this in, and I'm going to go from 9, so 09 45 to and I'm going to go to 10:25 because that's 8:45, and I'm going to go to 10:25. So 10:25. And how long? What's the difference between those two? Well, that was 1:45 is 50 minutes. So that's 15 minutes until it gets to 10 o'clock. And we get to 10:15, and that's another 15 minutes. So that in total is 30 minutes. But we want 10:25. So we're another 10 minutes on to 10:15, and that gives us in total 40 minutes. Okay. Now, but we need to know between 9:45 and 18:25. So this is on 24-hour clock. You need to know what your 24-hour clock is. But we've worked out 9:45 to 10:25. Now we're going to work out 10:25 to 18:25. 25. This is why 24-hour clock is so much easier to work with. 10:25 to 18:25 is 8 hours difference. All right, so it's 8 hours difference. So my answer for question 5 is 8 hours. Let's get that right. And 40 minutes. 40 minutes. That's my answer there for that one. So 8 hours and 40 minutes. The answer for question 5. Question 6. What is the answer if I subtract half of 39 from half the number of days in August? Okay, let's just get rid of all of this first so that we can get this one sorted. So let's have a look. Answers. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract, sorry, not going to subtract, we're going to see what is half of 39. So divide 2 by 39. We know that 2 goes into 3 once, and we have 1 left over. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm just going to write in a number 2. No, I'm not going to do that because that doesn't work, but I'm going to do this instead. So I'm going to write a number 1 in there. Okay, so I'm going to put a 1 here. And then it's going to be how many times does 2 go into 19? Well, we know from our 2 times table that 2 will go into 19 9 times, because 2 9s are 18, but with 1 left over. So let's put our 9 there. And we've got a remainder 1. Now, that remainder 1, the problem we've got is that would be 1 day. So we've got 19 and 1 day. Now, if we did the inverse to check our number, and that, so actually we need 19.5. Okay, that's what it would be. That's half of 39. The number of days are in August. Well, you need to know 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31. So August has 31 days. Okay, and so same thing again. What we need to do is we need to get a bus stop. We need to divide our bus stop by 2. Sorry, not the bus stop. We need to divide 31 by 2, and there we go. So how many times are 2 going to 31? And I think it goes into there once with 11 left over. And so what we have, back to this, so the ones with 11, ones with 11 left over. Okay, so that's 11, and it goes into there 5 times. Okay, so it goes into 15 times, and how much we divide 2 by 1, so 1 gives us 0.5. So that should have read down here. That should have read, I don't want to do it. That should have read 0.5. So let's have a quick look. Let's get rid of some of that. And that should have read 19.5 because it is half a day. Because half of 1 is 0.5. Okay. So, and what is the difference? So now we need to take 15.5. I'm going to do this. We need to take 15.5 and we need to subtract 19.5. So we got 15.5 and we're going to subtract 19.5 and that gives us -4. Okay. All right, number 7. Let's have a quick look. It says it is going to be, oh, Doesn't want to do it at the moment. It says it's going to be -4 tonight, and it was -7 yesterday night. How much warmer is it going to be tonight? How much warmer is it tonight compared to last night? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a number line, because what happens with numbers? So we've got, let's go, and I'm going to write these in here. Okay, so we have 0, and we've got about negative numbers, and then we have -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay, so that's where we are here. That's -4, -5, -6, and -7. So it was -7 on yesterday, and tonight it's going to be -4. So the difference between the two would be 1, 2, 3 degrees Celsius. All right. Now it's not -3. Okay. It wouldn't be -3. You think about why not? Because if I was doing -3, I would be getting colder again. I'd be going -7, -8, -9, -10. Because that's getting colder. It's actually getting warmer. So it's +3 degrees, which is why it's 3 Celsius. Okay, question 8. If the perimeter of a square is 81 centimeters, what is its area? You need to know and need to remember that perimeter is all the way round. The area is what's in the middle. Okay, so the area is all this space here. So it says the area is 81 centimeters. Sorry, the perimeter is 81 centimeters. That means is if we add that and that and that and that all together, it equals 81. So the way we get around it is we divide. Okay, we are going to divide 81 by 4. Okay, and that gives us an answer of 20.25 centimeters. Okay, so each one of these sides is 20.25 centimeters. How many times 4 goes into 8? It goes in twice. What's left over? So that gives us 20.25. Okay, so now we need to know what is its area. Well, first of all, 25 is 1/4. Okay, so our area now is, you can write that down so it's a bit neater, so I'm just going to do that there. Our area is going to be 20.25 multiplied by 20.25 because it's squared centimeters and because you're multiplying the length by the width. So 20.25 to 20.25, and that equals, we multiplied that, 410 and 1/16. Okay, and 1/16. So 410 and 1/16. Why 1/16? Well, let's have a look. 1/16 because, let me just get that underneath. Doesn't want to do it. 20.25 by 20.25 gives us 410 and 1/16. Hang on a second, let's get my thing to sort itself out. And yes, there we go. and 1/16. Okay, 1 and 1/16. The reason for that is that 0.25 is equivalent to a quarter. And when 1/4 is multiplied by a quarter, it's 4 times 4, which gives us 16. Okay, remember we're multiplying 1/4. Okay, multiply 1/4 by 1/4. Multiply 1 by 1, and that gives us 1. 4 times 4 is 16, 1/16. So your answer, 410 and 1/16. Question 9. So first of all, you need to know what on earth triangular numbers are. Triangular numbers are this. Let's start with 1. I'm now going to add another 2. So I end up with a triangle. That's 3. I'm now going to make another triangle. And I'm going to add 3 to that, so then I get a triangle. So that's 6. I'm going to add another 3, and I'm going to add some more to that 6. So I get another triangle. Okay, you can get the idea here. Notice what's happening is I've got one triangle here. I'll draw that across, and another triangular number. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I got 1, 3, 6, 10. So I'm going to add another row to make up another triangle. So this time I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to add another row. So I've got my 15. See if we can work out how many are in that. I'm going to add another row. And I'm going to do one more. Oh, Billy's getting in the way there. So, I said that was 15. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And it asks us what is the next triangular number after 21. So that's 21. And the next one, if I add another row again, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Hang on a second. What have I done? Oh, I seem to have 2 of that there. Okay, and me trying to be clever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So the next triangular number would be 28. Okay. Next triangular number, the answer is 28. Fantastic. Okay, question 10. Calculate 142 multiplied by 24. There we go, 142 multiplied by 24. So, 124 multiplied by 24. 124, a 2-digit number, 3-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. 4 times 4 is 16. In a second, doesn't want to come around our 8. 16, so 6 down there. And we carry my 1 over. The 10, so that becomes 100. 4 times 1 is 4, and that one is 5. 568. So now we're on there. We've got to put our 0 there. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. 2 4s are 8. and 2 times 1 is 2. So now our next move is to add these two up. Draw equal signs there, 8 plus 0, so we're now going to add these two. This gives us an 8. 4 and 6 is a 10, 0, carry 1. 5 plus 8. 8 gives us 13 and 1 is 14. And we need to carry that one over. 2 plus 1 gives us 3. Oh, let's write that one again, shall we? So our answer is 3,408. So 65,260 divided by 13. 13 into 66 doesn't go, 0 above. 13 to 65, well now I've gone and written out the 13 times table. We can see that it goes in once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, and it goes into 65. So it goes exactly. Let's make sure we can get that done. Here we go, 65. The gap in between that. So what needs to happen now is this. So let's just bring this up. Now 65 from 65 will not give us anything. So we now need to bring down our 26. So I'm going to put a 5. Let's put a 5 up here, shall we? Because it goes in 5 times. And then we're going to bring down here, we're going to bring down here 2, 13 going to 2. Now we're going to bring down 26. Does 13 go into 26? Yes, it does. If we look there, it goes in twice. I'm going to put a 0 in there above the 2. And I'm going to put a 2 there because it goes in twice according to our times table. And then underneath down here, I am going to write, put 26 because it does go in there twice. And I'm now going to find out. Put that underneath. Goes exactly. 13 to 0 doesn't go. We haven't got that. So our answer, 65,260 divided by 13, and it goes in 5,020 times. There's your answer. Question 12. I save half of my weekly pocket money, give 10% to charity and spend the rest. How much do I spend if I give £1.20 to charity each week? So they say, save half of my weekly pocket money. Don't worry about that for the moment, but it gives 10% to charity. So how much is his pocket money? Well, his pocket money is going to be, let's get our numbers smaller to make it easier. We'll do that to 18. So his pocket money is going to be £12. The reason for that is if £1.20 is 10%, so that means 100% would be £1.20. Okay. So he says he saves and he spends. So he says, he or she says spend half of the weekly pocket money. So that means spends half of £12, which equals £6. Pound cosine in there. Oops. So that equals £6. So he spends half, he gives 10% to charity. So that means the 10% he's going to give to charity. So in total, that is, let's have a look, £6 and £1.20. If we add that up, we will end with, so we can add that up nice and quickly. That's not what I want to do. We're going to add, so that would be 0, 26, so £6, so that equals 50%, which is why he said he spends half. So we have 50% plus 10% equals 60%. So he gives away 10% and he spends 50%. So that gives us 60% in total, which leaves us with 40%. So we need 40% of £12, and that equals £4.80. And the way we get to £4.80 is, if 10% is £1.20, that would be £1.20 multiplied by 4, and that gives us 4 times 0 is 0, 2 4s are 8, 4 times 1 is 4, and that's our answer, £4.80. So how much does he spend? He spends £4.80 each week. And finally, question 13. The rollerblades I am saving up for have just been reduced in the sale by 15%. I had saved up half of the money I needed before they were reduced. If I have saved £60, how much more money do I need to save in order to buy the rollerblades at the reduced price? So, first of all, we need to know what the starting price was. We know they saved up half the money before they were reduced. So we've really just got that information. And they've saved up £60. So the complete price, the original before the reduction, was the 2 times £60. That will give us the amount. And so that means that the price is originally £120. So I now need to work out what the reduced price is. So that's the original price. Okay. Oh, so daisies, come on. That's our original price. Hang on, I'm just going to do this. Right, that's better. So this is our original price. So that's the original price. Okay. So what I need to do now is what's 15% of the original price. So that's 15%. Wait for it to catch up. I have to redo that one, aren't I? Quite work. So 15% of £120, well, 10% would be £12, and 5% would be half of that, so that means that would be £6. So £12 plus £6, and that gives us £18. So we take, to get the how much we need to take off, so we need to take 120 and we need to subtract from that 18, which means that's £102. Okay, so this is now our reduced price. So they want to know, how much more money do I need to save in order to buy the rollerblades? So we've got £102, and what we need to do now, I'm just going to draw a line there and there. What we need to do, we've got 102, so we need to do 102, and we've already got £60, so we're now going to subtract £60 from that 102. Okay, 0 from 2, go, take £60 away from it, and we are left with 42. So the £42 is now what we need to save. So that's our answer. Just down there, £42. Brilliant. Okay, question 1. Here we have a simultaneous equation where they're asking us what the value of y. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all the terms together, and we are going to subtract one from the other. So we have 2y minus 2y plus 4x minus 2x. And on the numerical side, so we get the remaining term, 60 minus 36. Okay, so first of all, we can 2y minus 2y, they will cancel themselves out. Okay, then we have 4x minus 2x, and that leaves us with 2x. There, that leaves us with 2x. If we take 60 away, 36 away from 60, that leaves us with 24. Okay, so if 2x is 24, that has to mean that 1x is 12. So 1x is 12. So let's take one of our equations, it doesn't matter which, because we'll get the same answer. I'm going to take our first one, 4x plus 2y equals 60. Well, 4 times x, which is what we've got originally, is 4 times 12, which is 48. Okay, now we still don't know the value of y. That means what we need to do next is this. We're going to have 60 minus 48, because 48 is what 4x is. So it's 4x plus 2y equals 60. Okay, 60 minus 48, and we're left with 12. 12 is what 2y would be. Okay, because we multiply 2. Remember, if there are two numbers next to each other, so 4 multiplied by x is 4 times that. So 12 is 2y, therefore y equals 6. Okay. Okay, question 2. Half the people at a party left before 8 p.m. So that's half. And a further 4 people left before midnight. A third of the total guests remain. How many people remained at the party after midnight? So first of all, we know that half the party left before 8, and half of them must still then leave after 8. Okay, but a third of the total remains. We're going to work in thirds all. So we've got half. Well, we're going to go into thirds. So half is 3/6. Okay, which is 3/6, which is half. They're left before 8. Before 8. Okay. That means 1/3, okay, left after midnight. Sorry, it shouldn't be a third, it should be this. So 3/6 before 8 p.m. Got to put the M in. All right. This means 1/6. Okay. Leave. Okay, between 8 to 12 p.m. All right. So 1/3. Why 1/3? Well, we are told. So sorry, 1/6. We are told that a third or 2/6 remain. All right. And the information tells us that 1/6, okay, tells us is 4. So that means 4. Okay, 4 people left. All right. So 2/3 or 2/6 rather were left. Okay, remains. So 2/6. So if 1/6 is 4, 2/6 obviously equals 8 people. So that means that if after 8 o'clock there was 8 plus 4, which gives us 12. All right, because we've got 1/6 after 8 but before 12, that means 4, and 2/6 were left after 12. So 8 plus 4 gives us 12 people. Okay, so 12 people left were there after 8 p.m. So it asks how many people remained at the party after midnight. So the 1/3 is 8. Okay, so the number of people left after midnight was 8 people. Question 2. A supermarket sells different brands of tins of chopped tomatoes in different sizes and at various prices. Look at the information and identify which size is the best value. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to make it 100 grams. The price is for 100 grams for each of these. That makes it easier to compare. So our first one is 400 grams at 60 pence. So that's 60 divided by 4. You know, 60 divided by 4, and that equals 15 pence. Okay, 4 goes into 6 once, 2 left over, so that carries across, so it becomes 20. 5 4, so 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, our next one is 1200 grams at £1.70. Now, instead of £1.70, we're going to do it in pence. Okay, so let's have a look what that is. So again, 12 divided by 170, or 170 divided by 12 rather. 12 into 1 doesn't go, I'm going to put my 0 in there. 12 into 17, well, that goes once. And we need to carry over 5. How many times does 12 go into 50? Well, 12 going to 50, because remember you need to carry that across. Well, it doesn't. You know your 12 times table: 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. So 4 times, which is 48, and 2 left over are 2 pence. Okay, so it's 14.2 pence. The next one we're going to have is 200 grams at 32 pence. Okay, so 200 grams at 32 pence, and don't forget we need 32 pence divided by 200 grams. And that, so 2 goes into there once, we need to go and carry that across. 2 times 4 gives us 12, so that's 14 pence. And finally, well, not quite finally, but then we have 42 divided by 3. 42 pence divided by 300 grams. 3 goes into 4 once, 1 left over. 3, 6, 9, 12 goes in 4 times. Just realised something silly there. 2 does not go into 12 4 times. So let's redo that one, shall we? Know what on earth I was doing. You should have been shouting down your screen going, no it doesn't, no it doesn't. Remember it goes in a total of 6, 2 times 6 is 12. So we have 16 pence there, but that does go in. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 kilogram at £1.60, and so that then equals 16 pence. So we got 15 pence, 14.2 pence, 16 pence, and 14 pence. Okay, so that means that the best value is 300 grams at 42 pence. Because even though 1200 grams looks good at £1.70, actually your best value is this one. Okay? Okay. Question 4. A mother shares out some money between her 3 children in the following way. First child receives 1/5 of the total, the second child 1/4, and the third receives the remainder. If the third child receives £132, what was the amount of money that is shared out? Well, we've got 2 different amounts, so we need to find the common denominator. So 1/5, 1/4. Okay? So let's have a look. So let's do this one instead. So write it in. 1/5, 1/4. So we've got, so we make it into that, which is what a number will go into both a 5 and the 4, and that'll be 20th. So we'll look at 1/5, and we're going to multiply by that by, maybe I got it wrong. Quarter, so for, sorry about this, it's not quite working. And then I'm just going to write this out so that we can actually write in the proper number, and that should be 4, and that equals 4/20. Okay, so convert it into 20ths. So 1/4 plus 5/5. The first 2 children get, so and then we're going to have 1/4 and we are going to multiply that by 5/5, and that equals 5/20. Now you might be asking why we have got the 20ths here. Well, that is the whole amount. That is the complete whole amount, so the 20th, because to make it easier to be able to work this out. So our first child is 1/5. We multiply by that 4/4 because that's the whole amount, but they only get 1/4 of the total. Okay, and 4 goes into 25 times. The same with this one. The reason why we have 5/5, that would be the whole, and so 1/4 of the whole would be 5/20. Okay, so the first two children get in total 4/20 and 5/20, and so they get in total 9/20. Okay, and now, so that means that the third child, okay, he gets, or she gets, 11/20. They obviously must have been very nice to mummy. They get 11/20. Okay, and that 11/20 equals £132. Now our question, what is the total amount of money that is shared out? It doesn't ask us how much they got, it just asks us what is the total amount of money that is shared out. Okay, so if 11/20 is £132, 1/20, that's right, 1/20 will have to equal £12. And so the amount shared out in total is £240. So, confusion about how we come to that £240? Well, if 1/20 is 12, 9/20 must equal 9 times 12. We know that 9 times 12 equals 108 pounds. So they get 9/12, so that's 108. So the third child will get 11/20, 132. So the total amount is 132 plus, or 108 plus 132, 0, carry 1, and that's 4, and that's 240. Okay, so that's how we get to this number here. Question 5. The time in a country A is 8 hours behind country B. If country C is 4 hours ahead of A, what is the time difference between countries B and C? Now, you've got to be careful here, because normally we'd go A, B, C. It doesn't always work like that. So, B is 4 hours ahead, okay, of C. Ahead of C. Okay, so it's 4 hours ahead. How do we know that? Well, C is 4 hours ahead, so country A, we know that A is 8 hours behind. Okay, or C is 400. Country A is 8 hours behind B. That's what we know. A is 8 hours behind B. We know that C is 4 hours ahead of A. So if the time difference between A and B is 8 hours, country C, so A would be here, and B would be here. And the time difference between the two is 8 hours. Okay, but that one is behind. So if we go there, we're getting behind. So it's minus 8 hours going that way. Let's get rid of that bit of the arrow there. So we know country C is 4 hours ahead. So I'm just going to get rid of this here. It's in the way. Can just see it's 4 hours ahead. So if I go to C, that's +4 hours. What is the time difference between B and C? Well, to get from, if that difference between A and B is 8, that's 4. So obviously to get from the time difference there between these two countries will have to be 4 hours. So the time difference will be 4 hours. Question 6. A cylindrical candle burns at a steady rate of 10 millimeters per hour. The cross-sectional area of the candle is 2 centimeters squared. If the candle takes 5 hours to burn completely from when it was first lit, what was the volume of the candle at the start? So it's asking us, what is the volume of the candle at the start? So the candle burns at 1 centimeter. Okay, it doesn't work. 1 centimeter per hour. Sorry, we'll try and get that. My board just doesn't want to seem to be working. Per hour for 5 hours. Okay. So 1 centimeter per hour for 5 hours. All right. So that means it says 1 because 10 millimeters, so 1 centimeter per hour. Okay, for 5 hours. And it's 2 centimeters squared. So that would mean that the candle was 5 centimeters tall. Okay, at the start. 5 centimeters tall at the start. So volume, we need to find out the volume at the start, and volume of a cylinder is area times height. Okay. Therefore, the volume was 2, which is 2 centimeters cubed, times the height, which is 5, and that equals 10 centimeters cubed. Right, question 7. There are 29 children on a bus when it starts its journey. So you're going to write that down. 29 children when it starts. 17 children get off the bus at its first stop. Stop number 1, we lose 17. 6 more children get on at the first stop. So we're going to add 6. We've lost 17, but we're going to add 6 to that. Okay. 29 get on at the second stop. So we're going to add 29. So they get on at the second stop. And now at the third stop, 15 get off at the third stop. So we're going to take away 15 children. Okay. All of the children get off at the fourth stop. How many children get off at the fourth stop? So let's have a look. So 29 minus 17. Let's take it a bit at a time, and we can do that. So 29, and we're going to subtract 17, and that gives us, so 29 minus 17 will give us 12. Okay, now we need to add 6. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now we need to add 6 to our total altogether. Let's put that back up there. Oh, no, yes, that's what I want. No, I don't. I want this. Just going to wait a second for it to just catch up. Right. It says 12. I'm going to underline that. That's what we left off with. So we now need to add 6, and that equals plus 12 gives us 18. And we now need to add, because 29 get on, and we're going to add 29. So 18 plus 29, 9 plus 8 gives us 17, 2, 3, 4, 47. Okay, and now we need to subtract 15, because 15 get off. Okay, and that equals, so 47 subtract 15, that gives us 5 and 7 is 2, so that gives us 32. So our answer for this question is 32. All the children at the 4th stop. Okay. Brian and Fiona's ages add up to 90 years. Brian is 8 years older than Fiona. How old are Brian and Fiona currently? So together, 90 years. Brian is 8 years older. So let's write Brian's age as Fiona plus 8. Okay, this is Brian's age. And let me just add these into brackets so it makes it a little bit easier to understand. So Brian is Fiona plus 8. And if we add Fiona, and together they equal 90. Okay? So 2 times Fiona's age. So Brian, this equals 2 times Fiona age plus 8. Okay, because we don't quite know what they are yet. Totals 90 years. Equals 90 years. So the next thing you need to do is, if we take 8 years out of 90, we take 8 from 90, that will give us half their age. All right, so if we take 90 and we subtract 8, that will give us 82. 82 years. So we now need to find out how old Fiona is, because Brian was 8 years older than her. So we've got rid of those 8 years, so now we could work out what they could be if they were both the same age. So 90 minus 8 gives us 82. We now need to work out Fiona, what her age is going to be. So that means 2 times Fiona's age equals 82. Half of that, so therefore Fiona is 41. That is because we need to find out which is half of 82. Okay, so that means Brian equals, what was that on? 41 plus 8, because he is, as it says, Brian is 8 years older. Let's move this out of the way a bit. Brian is 8 years older than Fiona, which means 41 plus 8, which means 49. So Brian equals 49 and Fiona is equals 41. Question 9. 212 people visit a wildlife park between opening time and noon. If there are 712 visitors during the entire day, how many people visit the park in the afternoon? Well, we know there are 712 for the whole day. Okay, so if we know there are 712 the whole day, noon, we need to know what noon means. Noon means midday. So we're going to have 712 subtract 212. That's a nice easy one. So 712 by that, 12, subtract the 12, 12 plus 2 gives us 500. So that means there are 500 people in the park in the afternoon. Okay, 500 people in the afternoon, that's your answer there. All right. Question 10. Car has a full tank of fuel with a capacity of 15 gallons. So 15 gallons in total. Tank is 2/3 full. Car can travel 30 miles per gallon on fuel. How many miles can the car travel before it runs out of fuel? So we need to find out how much fuel is in the tank at 2/3. Well, at 15 gallons, we split that into thirds. How many times does 3 go into 15? Well, it goes 5. So it's 5 times, 2/3 would be 10 gallon. 1/3 is 5, 2/3, 10, 3/3 capacity is 15. Okay, so it has 10 gallons in the tank so far. Now it's 2/3. It can travel at 30 miles per gallon of fuel. Okay, so that equals, so that's 10. So if 1 gallon equals 30 miles, that must mean that 10 gallons will allow us to go 10 times, 10 times 30 gallons, which must mean that it travels, so it's 10 times 30, 10 times 30, and that means it can travel 300 miles before running out of fuel. Okay, that's our answer, 300 miles, and that's our answer there. So it's 300 miles before we can run out of fuel. Okay, we have, what is the size of the obtuse angle between the hands of a clock showing 7 o'clock? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very quickly draw a clock. Here we go. Here's our clock, and I'm going to draw some hands, put some arrows onto them. Okay, so let's draw some arrows. Just going to use the ender, not too thick. So that's our 12 o'clock there, and then that's going to be around about 7 o'clock. So it wants to know the angle of the hands showing 7 o'clock. Okay, well, first of all, what is an obtuse angle? An obtuse angle is greater than 90 and less than 180. If you don't know what your angles are, you need to know what they are. There are 360 degrees in total. So all the way around this clock, we have 360 degrees. So I'll just grab this clock. And I'm going to grab my hands as well. There we go. So all the way around, don't forget it's a circle, so all the way around there is 360 degrees. So there are 30 degrees for each hour. So each hour that passes, there, that's quarter past. So each hour will equal 30 degrees because 12 goes into, how many times does 12 go into 360? 12 into 36 goes 3 times 360 to go 30 times. That means it's 5 times 30. So because you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 11, 10, 9, 8 and 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 times 30. So the angle there will be 150 degrees. So this is what our angle is. Okay. Right. On his next birthday, Tom will be 3 years younger than his older sister. His older sister was 9 years old on Tom's last birthday. How old would Tom be on his next birthday? So, let's have a look. On his next birthday, Tom will be 3 years younger than his older sister. So it's the one, not this next birthday comes to. His older sister was 9 years old on Tom's last birthday. Right, so that means that this birthday, she is going to be 10. Okay, so this older sister, 10 years old next birthday. But he's going to be 3 years younger. So that means if she's 10 years old on his next birthday, that means he's going to be 7 years old. So our answer here is Tom is going to be 7 years old. Okay. Okay, so in this one we need to find out what the value of the missing digits are. So we have a 6, we have a missing number, and then we have a 4, and then we have a missing number. We have, and the sum is a subtraction. Okay, and that's a missing number, and then we get a 3, and then we have a missing number, and then we get a 9. Okay, and the total will be, let's get this down, 4, 8, 8, 3. That's our total there. I'm going to put my line in a minute once it allows me to do it. Yes. Okay, so let's have a look. The top missing number in the units column must have been a 2 initially, because once a 10 is borrowed, this becomes 12. Okay, so that's going to be a 2. I'll write that in there. That's going to be a 2. Okay. The 4 in the tens column there will become 3 once it's borrowed. On the next column to give 13 tens, subtract 5. So the reason for that being a 2 is we need to take a larger number from a smaller one. So 9, if that was a 9 too, that would equal 0. So 9 from something smaller. So what would give us 3? Well, that will means we will have borrowed a number there. So that would make sure that that's a 12. So that, therefore, has to be a 3. Okay. Now, again, something that's going to give us 8. What can we take away from 3 that'll give us 8? Well, we'll have had to borrow something from here. So that'll make it 13. So what will we take away from 13 to get 8? Well, if we take 8 away from 13, and that will give you 5. So 3 from something. It needs to be 3 from a smaller number to give us 8, because that number at the top there needs to be bigger. So we can't take, if I took 3 from 5, that would only give me 2. So whatever happens, I have to borrow from the thousands. So if I make that a 2, because that's my number to start off with, but I've had to borrow 1 10 there, and so that's going to be a 1. Okay, 3 from 1 I can't do, so I'll have to borrow 1 of the thousands to give me 11. Don't forget, because I had to take 1 to make that 13. So, oh, I haven't put my number down there. So, I'm going to take 3 from 2. Can't do because I needed that there. 3 from 11, that gives me 8, which means I must have taken 1 from, if I took 1 from 6, and that leaves me with 5, because I'll have borrowed that 1,000 there to allow me to take 3 from the 11, which gives me 8. So that means if I take 1, if I'd taken 1 from 6 originally, but I wouldn't have done that because it was 5, I've had to borrow that 1,000, and it becomes that. So my full number is 6, 2, 4, 2. That's 1, 3, 5, and 9. So that's my answer. So the ones that are missing are the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 2. Okay. Okay. Test 3, pages 8 and 9. A mother shares out some money between her 3 children. We don't know the total. The first child receives 12.5% of the total. Second receives 3/4 of the total. The third receives the remainder. If the third child receives £190.50, how much did the first child receive? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to write it in eighths. 12.5% is 1/8. Okay, so we want to know how much the first child received. So 1/8 for the first child. Okay, 3/8 is 12.5 as a fraction equals 1/8. The second child would receive 3/4 of the total, which is 6/8. Which means the third child would, as 6/8 plus 1/8 is 7/8. They also get 1/8 of the total too. So the first child, so that equals 190. So that must mean that the first child gets the same as the first, which equals £190.50. Okay, so our answer for this one is £190.50. Question 2. Terry is 5 years younger than Bernice. Bernice will be twice as old as Georgie, will be 1 year from now. Terry was 71 last year. How old is Georgie now? Okay, Terry was 71 last year. So, let's write this down. So, Terry is now, this year, 72. Okay. Bernice is 72 plus 5, because she's 5 years older than Terry, which means that she is 77 years this year. Okay, now she will be twice as old as Georgie will be in 1 year from now. So if she's twice as old, that means Bernice will be 78. Sorry, my fault. 78, because so in 1 year's time, Bernice will be 78. I thought that should have been 77 this year. Absolutely right. In 1 year's time, Bernice will be 78. Okay, so Georgie will be should be twice as old as Georgie will be 1 year from now. So 1 year from now, if Bernice is 78, that means that Georgie equals 78 divided by 2, and that equals 38. Sorry, 39. Which means, how old is Georgie now? Well, that is going to be next year. So Georgie is now 38. There we go. So Georgie is 38 years old now. That's the answer. Right, question 3. A similar question to one that was earlier on in the previous test. 23 children on a bus when the journey starts. So that's 23. Let's write that in there. Right place. 23. 15 children get off the bus at its first stop. Okay, so we need to subtract 15. And that equals, so 23 subtract 15, 8. Let's get that in there. Okay. 6 more get off at the second stop and more children get on. So we don't know how much get on. So 6 more at the first stop. 9 more get on at the first stop. So we need to add 8. Okay, so that equals 16. Now it says 6 get off, so we need to subtract 6. And then more children get on, but we don't know how many, so I'm going to put a question mark there. And finally, all 18 remaining children get off at the third and final stop. How many children got on the bus at the second stop? Okay, so it's minus 6 plus whatever, so that equals 18. So we don't know what that is. Well, let's first of all, we've got up to the 16 there. Okay, so it's 8 plus 8. So we've got on the first stop, 15 children get off. 23 staff, 15 get off, and we're left with 8. 9 more get on at the first stop. Ooh, apologies for that, that should be a 9. So that means that's 17. And we take 6 away. So let's go back a bit. So we've got 17 minus 6. Well, let's just work out what 17 minus 6 is first. Okay, so we have 17 minus 6, and that equals 11. So we need to know how many children, so we can add these children on. So that there, 17 minus 6 will give us 11. Let's add that in there. And then we add a certain number of chickens. So we work that out. We take, to work this bit out, what we need to do is we need to take 18, and then we're going to subtract 11. And we take 18 away from 11, and that equals 7. So therefore, in answer to that, how many children got on the bus at the 7 children got on the bus at the second stop. There's your answer. 7 children got on the bus at the second stop. There we go. Let's have a look at the next one. Question 4. So, for comparison, what we're going to do with this question, so we can work it out nice and easily, we are going to work it out as prices per litre. All right, and anything which is pounds and pence, we will convert into just pence. All right, so let's just lay that out. So, do that sorted. Okay, so we're going to work it out as the price per litre. Now it's a similar to the one that was earlier on, the last test as well. We can add prices per litre. So 1 litre. Okay, we're going to go to 1 litre equals 135 pence. All right. So we want to know which is the best value. Let's just move this down a bit because it's in the way. Yeah, there we go. So 500 millilitres, which is half a litre. So if we did it a litre, it's 180 pence. Okay. So it's per litre. The next one is 2 litres are £2.75. So if 2 litres equals £2.75 or 275 pence, 1 litre at this price would equal half of that, and that would be 137.5 pence per litre. Okay. The next one is 1.5 litres at £1.90. So it's 150 litres. No, 1,050 litres, 1,500 litres, I should say. at, and that equals 190 pence. So I'm going to So I am going to divide that by 3, which gives me 63 pence, just under 63.33 pence per litre, which means that per litre that is 126.66 pence per litre. And finally 750 millilitres at 120. Okay, so 750 millilitres at 120. That's 120 pence. So we'd need, again, divide that by 3, and that would mean that 1 litre would be, so we need to add another 40 onto that, because 3 4s are 12, because we need to make it into 1 litre, and that would be 160 pence. So the best value one that we could find is 1.5 litres per at £1.90, which equals 126.66. 1 litre is 135. That's 500 ml is 180 pence per litre. That is 137. So that per litre is the best value, equals 1.5 litres at, we say it was 126 or £1, so it's 126.66 pence. Okay, that's your best value one there. Let's have a look at our next question. Ooh. Okay, question 5. Yeah, let's get that down again. So, car has a fuel tank with a capacity of 90 litres. Tank is 50% full, which means it has 45 litres. Okay, in fluid tank, in the tank. Okay, so we've got 45 litres in the tank. If the car can travel 500 miles before running out of fuel, calculate the number of miles the car travels per gallon. 1 gallon is approximately 4.55 litres. Alright, so the 445 litres, 500 miles before it runs out of fuel. And that is equivalent So 45 litres in there. And it wants to know it in gallons. How many car travels per gallon? How many miles per gallon it travels? Not litres. So we need to convert the 45 litres to gallons. So fitting that down equals 10 gallons, approximately. So if it needs to cover 50 miles per gallon, where are we? Yep, so to cover 500 miles, 500 miles on 10 gallons. That would mean that it would cover 50 miles per gallon, because we go backwards. 10 times 50 is 500. Question 6. If an equilateral triangle has the same length side as a regular hexagon, how many of the equilateral triangles will fit inside the regular hexagon? So, here's my regular hexagon. How many are equilateral triangles? So I'm going to find the center point, which is about there. Now, to help me, and you can do a similar thing, you could draw this out, as long as obviously you measure the same length. So what I'm going to do, because it says there's the same length side as a regular hexagon, so the one of the lengths side, don't forget equilateral, which means all sides have to be the same as a regular hexagon, so that side there will be the same as the remaining two sides. How many of the equilateral triangles will fit inside the regular hexagon? Right, to help me, it's never going to be easy to draw it. So there we go. Well, it's one equilateral triangle, all same size of length. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be naughty, and I'm going to do something called a cloner. And so I'm just going to pick this out. So just do that. Now I am going to turn this that way, and I'm just going to slide that in. So there's one. Sure it's right. There. In. Place. That's one. And I'm going to do it again. It's brilliant this, because I can then do it, and I would go there. Fantastic, it needs a little bit more work. Oops. There we go. So if 1, 2, do this with me. So if 1, 2, 3 equilateral triangles fit in there, that must mean that I can fit another 3 in, which means the total number of equilateral triangles will be 6. I can show you that if you wish. Let's have a quick look. Let's do this one. Clone this one. So I'm then going to put that one there, round, so that that one fits. Do it. Got that one there, and 4 by, so we've got 6 there. Question 7. 247 people visit a museum between 9 AM opening time and noon. Okay. 438 people visit between 3 and 7, which is closing time. If 927 people visit the museum in the entire day, how many visitors were there between noon and 3? So we've got in total 927. And we need to take out. So we need that there, and we need to subtract. So we need to subtract for the first of all 247, because our 247 people between 9 and noon, which is midday. So we can have 247. Okay, and I'm just going to get a line there. Just going to bring that in and shorten it down. Straight line. Okay, and we're just going to clone that. And then going to come up with an answer. Okay, so I'm going to have 7 subtract 7, which is going to be so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write this one in. So 7 subtract 7, nice and easy. And that is 0. 4 from 2 can't do, so we need to take 1 from our hundreds, and 4 from 12 I can, and then that now becomes 8. So 4 from 12 will leave me with 8, and 2 from 8 will leave me with 6. So that's 680. So that's 680 between 9 and noon. So between 3 and 7 p.m. And that equals 680. And we're going to take away from that 438. Eight from 0 can't do, so I'm going to borrow 1 from here. I'm going to take 1, and that leaves us with 7. So 8 from 10 gives us 2. 3 from 7 gives me 4. And 4 from 6 will give me 2. So between noon and 3, so between 12 and 3 p.m, 242 people were visitors. Didn't quite work that, but 242 people were visitors between. That's the answer for number 7. Right, so we have question 8. 8 people represents 20%. So 8 people equals 20%. Okay. Of the total guests, leave after 3 and before 4. So that means if those 8 people are 20%, the people that leave before, so 10%, will equal 4 people. That means that 70% will equal 70%, as I said, equals 28 people. So 28 people are 20%, 10% is 4, so 70% of 28. That means the total number of people before 4 p.m. So before 4 p.m. equals 28 plus 8, and that equals 36. So if we take the total of guests, because if the remaining people who leave after 4 p.m. make up 1/10, so 1/10 or 10% is 4 people, so that means total number of guests being 40 equals 40. So the remaining people who leave after 4 p.m. make up 1/10. How many people leave the party after 4? So 4 people leave after 4 p.m. And that's the answer. Here it is, 4 people leave after 4 p.m. Right. Next one. Try and get rid of this first. And we can do our next question. So, question 9. Which fraction is larger? 5/8 or 7/12? Before we can do anything, we need to work out what our common denominator is. And that is 24. Okay, so that's our common denominator. So that means that converting the fractions can be written as, so 5/8 would equal 15/24, and 7/12 would equal, because don't forget, to get to 24, what we need to do is we need to do the same thing to the top and the bottom. So if we need to multiply 8 and 8 is 16, 3 8s are 24, so 3 8s will 24, and 3 5s are 15. To get 12 to 24, we multiply by 2. 2 times 12 was 24, 2 times 7 is 14, so 14/24. So that will mean that 5/8 is the larger of the two fractions. Okay, don't forget, you can't work out if you've got the denominators which are not the same, you need to get to the same, and to do that you must find out which number they will both go into. So both go into 24. Okay, question 10. If 3 pears and 3 apples cost £2.75 and 3 pears and 2 apples cost £2.26, what is the cost of 1 pear? Okay, let's put this as an equation. So we got 3 pears and 3 apples, so we need to add 3 apples equals £2.76. Okay, so we have 3 pears and 2 apples equals £2.26, which must mean the difference between that is 50 pence. So there is a difference of 50 pence, okay, between the two. Now, what does that mean? It means that an apple is worth, or would be worth, 50 pence. So the cost of the pear, so each apple, so 1A equals 50 pence. So we know that one apple is 50 pence. So 2 apples would equal £1. Now, 3 pears would equal 126 pence divided by I can't see what I'm doing, 3 to find out what 1 pear is worth. Okay, so let's work this one out. 3 into 12 goes 4 times. 3 into 6 goes twice. That means that the cost of 1 pear equals 42 pence. That should be a 2. Question 11. The time in country A is 10 hours ahead of B. So let's have a look. Let's put B. Let's get our B working there. Right. Every time. So okay, question 11. The time in country A is 10 hours ahead of country B. So here's B, and it is, here's A, and it's 10 hours. Okay. So, if country C is 4 hours behind, what is the time difference between B and C? So, let's put C. So C is minus 4, gives us C, which means the difference between B and C would need to be 6 hours. So the time difference between countries B and C is 6 hours. Question 12. What is the size of the reflex angle between the hands of a clock showing the time 12 up to o'clock? You need to know what a reflex angle is, and it's greater than 180 degrees, and it's showing the time at 2 o'clock. 360 degrees in a clock, because obviously it's a circle, and all the way around 360 degrees. So we're looking at 2 o'clock, so there are 10 times 30, so 300 degrees. Okay, And finally, subtract the smallest of the following numbers from the largest number. So I'm just going to get rid of this. The smallest from the largest. So you need to, first of all, put these in order. That's a really important thing to do. We need to get these in the right order. So let's have a quick look at what we've got. We've got 2, let's bring this out of the way a bit, 201, that's 2.01. So it's no tenths, 1/100th. So if we have, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have, make this a bit smaller. Back there, we're going to have smallest, and we're going to work our way to the largest. Okay, so 2.005, no tenths, no hundredths, and 5 thousandths. 2.1, which is 2 and 1/10. No tenths, 5 hundredths. We've got 1/10, no hundredths, and 5 thousandths. So 2.005 would be our smallest. And then we'll have, say, that's 2.01. So 2.5. So what's our biggest? Our biggest is 2.105. So I'm just going to change that. So that's going to be our biggest. And it's 2.005. And the difference, then when I subtract the smallest from the biggest, I will get 0.1. Take 5 from 5, 0, 0 there, 0 from 1, 0. Sorry, 0 from 1 is 1. There we go, 0.1. And finally, big well done to everybody who completed the You Could activities as well. So well done to everybody who did that whole test. Not easy at all. Well done.